I'm trying to do this in the least embarrassing way possible because we have people working on our house right now, but I digress. So this is my Mega Studio palette. It has been years in the making, honestly, and it's mostly Daniel Smith, Da Vinci with a few Schmincke super granulating colors. There's only one M Graham color and one Winsor Newton. Every color in here was chosen for a reason. Some are workhorse mixing colors, some are specialty pigments that do things that no other color can do. Now, side note, if you are newer to watercolor, which you may be if you're watching my channel, you absolutely do not need 52 colors. You can do almost anything with 12, even 6 if you've seen some of my videos. But if you're curious about expanding your palette, or you're just learning about pigment properties the way that I do, this video is going to give you a really clear picture of what's out there. I'm going to swatch row by row, 13 colors at a time, and for each one I'll tell you the pigment number, the light fast rating, which means like how well it lasts over time, if it fades in the sunshine, stuff like that. Whether the watercolor is transparent or opaque, granulating or smooth, the stuff that actually matters when you are painting. And at the end, I will share which colors I think are true essentials and which ones overlap. All right, let's jump into row 1. This row starts with my warm reds and oranges and then moves into greens, which is a little unusual for palette organization, but it works. So first up is Daniel Smith Deep Scarlet, made with PR 175. Deep Scarlet, this is a gorgeous, rich crimson red. Single pigment PR 175, which is actually pretty rare. Daniel Smith is one of the only manufacturers using this pigment. Excellent light fastness, semi-transparent, non-granulating, and it is medium staining. It's one of those reds that feels warm without going too orange, and it's really beautiful for floral work and portraiture. Next up is Da Vinci Perylene Maroon, made with PR 179. This is another single pigment red. It is deeper and earthier than Deep Scarlet, almost moving toward a wine color. It has excellent light fastness. If Deep Scarlet is your bright crimson, Perylene Maroon is your shadow red. It mixes gorgeous deep purples and is perfect for the darkest petals in a rose. It's also helpful in portraits and landscapes. It has excellent light fastness, semi-transparent, non-granulating, high staining capabilities. Next up is Daniel Smith Pyrrole Scarlet. This one is made with PR 255, which is a brilliant warm red that leans slightly orange. It's the color I reach for when I want something that reads as a true, clean scarlet. Not too cool, not too earthy. Excellent light fastness, semi-transparent, non-granulating, medium staining. It mixes clean, vibrant oranges. Next up is Daniel Smith Transparent Pyrrole Orange. If you can hear my daughter grunting in the background, I apologize. But this one, Transparent Pyrrole Orange, is made with PO 71. It is a single pigment orange that is genuinely transparent, which is hard to find in oranges. A lot of them lean more opaque. It has excellent light fastness. It is, again, transparent, non-granulating, and low staining capability. It's brilliant for glazing, and it mixes with blues to get beautiful warm grays. If you buy only one orange, honestly, this one is a strong contender. Next up is Da Vinci Benzimida Orange, PO 62. This is Da Vinci's answer to a clean, bright, semi-transparent orange, slightly warmer than Pyrrole Orange. It has excellent light fastness. It is semi-transparent, non-granulating, high staining capabilities. Semi-transparent is in its mass tone, but watered down, it becomes super transparent. Side by side with the Pyrrole Orange, they're close cousins. You probably don't need both unless you're doing really subtle temperature shifts. I digress. It mixes well to create a wide range of smoky violets, rich russets, bold darks, and even becomes useful in painting portraits and those soft, peachy skin tones. Next up is Da Vinci Leaf Green. It is PG7 and PY65 mixed. we are moving into the greens. So leaf green is a bright spring green. It is definitely a convenience mix. So it's not a single pigment, but it is convenient for a reason. It's that fresh, new leaf color straight out of the tube. Good light fastness, transparent, great for botanical work when you need that bright, lively green. Again, it's only good light fastness. Rating is number 2. It is transparent, granulating, and high staining capabilities. Next up, we have Da Vinci Green Gold made with PY 129. This is one of my favorite unusual greens. It's that yellow green you see in sunlit grass or the edges of leaves in early summer. It shifts warm, almost golden when diluted. If you paint a lot of landscapes or botanicals, green gold adds a warmth that standard greens just can't give you. Excellent light fast rating, transparent, non-granulating, high staining. Da Vinci Sap Green is the next one, made with PG7 and PY42. This sap green is a classic workhorse. Every palette needs a good sap green. And this is a convenience mix that gives you that natural organic green right out of the tube. The color of healthy foliage. Semi-transparent, excellent light fastness. I use this one constantly for landscapes and leaves. It is a staple in my not only in my studio palette, but also in my travel palette for years now. It mixes wonderfully with warm yellows, raw umber, blue, colors like that to create deep forest greens. It granulates a little bit and low staining capabilities. Now we have Daniel Smith Undersea Green made with PB29, PO48, and PY150. Undersea Green is a Daniel Smith specialty. This is the queen of convenience greens in the watercolor world right now. It is a mix of ultramarine blue and a brown earth pigment, which gives it this deep, moody ocean floor green. It granulates beautifully, separates on the paper, and creates texture without you doing a thing. Perfect for deep water, shadowed foliage, or anywhere you really want to add interesting texture. It has excellent light fastness. It is semi-transparent, granulating, and medium to high staining. Next up, we have Daniel Smith Diopside Genuine. It is made from a mineral pigment. This is one of Daniel Smith's Primatech colors made from actual ground diopside mineral. It ranges from bright Kelly green in its mass tone to a toned down mint color the more water that you add, and it also has a visible brown granulation that settles out. This one is great for landscape textures. It has excellent light fastness, it is transparent, granulating, and low staining power. Next up, we have Daniel Smith Cascade Green, made with PBR7 and PB15. This is a great mid-range green. It is cooler tone than sap green. It's a convenience mix that gives you that Pacific Northwest evergreen color. Semi-transparent, smooth application. If sap green is your warm foliage green, Cascade Green is your cool shadow green. The unexpected way that this color granulates makes it a great color for the perfectionist. You just have to lay this color on and let it do its thing. Excellent light fastness, semi-transparent, granulating, and medium staining power. Next up, we have Da Vinci Phthalo Green, made with PG7. This is a very intense one. Phthalo Green is extremely staining, extremely powerful, and extremely transparent. A tiny dot will tint an entire wash. It's the green you use when you need high chroma, like tropical water, bright foliage, mixing turquoise. Handle it with a light touch or it takes over every single mix you add it to. Excellent light fastness, transparent, granulate some, high staining power. Next up, we have Da Vinci Denise's Green. It is a custom mix. It's named after a popular watercolor artist and fellow YouTuber. It's a rich, warm-leaning green with nice transparency. It acts similarly to sap green. I use them pretty interchangeably. Since I bought my tube though, they reformulated with different pigments, so I can't exactly speak to the new color's performance, but I don't doubt that it is just as wonderful as this color. Excellent lightfastness, transparent, granulate some, and staining. All right, row 2 moves from crimsons and pinks into the blues, and this is honestly one of my favorite rows because there's so much variety in how these pigments behave. Plus, blue is pretty much my favorite color ever. First up, we have Da Vinci Alizarin Crimson Quinacridone, made with PB19. It is, well, the traditional alizarin crimson is made with PR83, which is fugitive, which means it fades in sunlight. Da Vinci replaces it with PB19, a quinacridone pigment that is light-fast and permanent. You get that same cool blue-leaning crimson that mixes clean purples and oranges, but without the fading problem. This is the smart version of alizarin crimson. It's only rated as good light-fastness. It is transparent, it granulates some, and medium staining power. Next up is a color that I have a love-hate relationship with. It is Daniel Smith's Potter's Pink PR233. This is one of those odd, soft granulating pinks. It is not bright. It's dusty, muted, almost vintage looking. It granulates quite heavily, so you get this beautiful textured wash. It's a specialty color for sure, but if you paint skies, portraits, or anything that benefits from soft granulating texture, it is magical. Lightfastness is excellent, semi-transparent, granulating, and low staining power. Next up is Daniel Smith Quinacridone Rose, made with PB19. Again, but it's the rose version rather than the violet version. This is a bright, cool, fluorescent leaning pink, excellent light fastness, transparent, non-granulating, medium staining power. It is my go-to for bright florals, peonies, roses, anything that needs a vivid, cool pink. It also mixes gorgeous, clean violets with blue, and it's beautiful in portraits and sunsets too. We have Daniel Smith Rose Madder Permanent, made with PR209, PB19, and PR202. This is Daniel Smith's light-fast replacement for genuine rose madder, which is made from the madder root and was famously fugitive. This version uses modern pigments to get that same soft, slightly dusty rose color without the fading. Transparent, very romantic and soft, non-granulating, and non-staining. Next up is a convenience mix. It is Daniel Smith's Rose of Ultramarine, made with PB19 and PB29. This is basically a premixed combination of quinacridone rose and ultramarine blue. So I've seen other artists mix their own and get a pretty similar effect to this color, but I bought the tube, so why not put it in my palette? It is basically a convenience purple, but the way that these two pigments separate on paper is absolutely stunning. The rose lifts and spreads, and the ultramarine granulates and settles. You get this very dimensional, almost glowing lavender type effect. Excellent light fastness, transparent, granulating, and medium staining power. Daniel Smith Cobalt Teal Blue, made with PG50. This is a single pigment teal with heavy granulation. It is semi-transparent, very textured, and the color is this gorgeous tropical turquoise that granulates into the paper. It is definitely a statement color. Not really a mixing workhorse, but for ocean water, luminous greenery, or shadow tones, nothing else does what this does. Excellent light fastness, semi-transparent, granulating, non-staining. Daniel Smith Cerulean Blue, PB35. This is the classic sky blue. It is granulating, semi-transparent, and that soft, slightly greenish blue that just reads as sky. Excellent light fastness. It also lifts beautifully too, so you can pull clouds out of a cerulean wash using a paper towel or a cloth or a brush, and it's really a staple for any landscape painter. So again, excellent light fastness, semi-transparent, granulating, and non-staining. Da Vinci Manganese Blue, made with PB15 and PB33. It is a soft, slightly greenish blue with a dusty quality. The true manganese blue is PB33, which is hard to find. Da Vinci's version achieves a similar look. It granulates softly, has a gentle color, and is lovely for atmospheric skies and distant mountains. In my opinion, you do not need this and cerulean blue, so if I were to recommend one or the other, I would definitely choose cerulean solely on its better Lightfast rating. This is only rated as a Lightfastness of 2, which is only good. It is transparent, granulating, and low staining power. This next color is my favorite. It is the cream of the crop Daniel Smith Ultramarine Blue PB29. If I could only keep one blue, this is it. You would be hard-pressed to find a palette of mine without this color in it. It's transparent, heavily granulating, warm-leaning blue that mixes gorgeous purples with red, beautiful grays with orange, and muted greens essential for landscapes. I absolutely love using this color in shadows, and my favorite mix is with a burnt sienna or an umber color to create rich chocolatey browns. It granulates and separates, so even a flat wash has texture. A true foundational color. It has excellent lightfastness, transparent, granulating, and medium staining power. Da Vinci's Indanthrene Blue, made with PB60. This is a deep, dark, cool blue that's a modern alternative to indigo. It's extremely lightfast. It is better than genuine indigo, which can fade. It's staining and powerful. It's great for deep shadows and mixing darks, painting deep waters, or starry night skies. If ultramarine is your warm blue, this would be your cool midnight blue. Its lightfastness is only rated as 2, which is good. Semi-transparent. Alright, I just had a double check. It is non-granulating and it has medium staining power. Next up is Daniel Smith Phthalo Blue Green shade, made with PB15-3. It is the cooler version of phthalo blue. It leans teal, especially in thin washes. It is intensely staining, incredibly powerful, and transparent. Again, a tiny dot goes a long way. It is the blue for tropical water, bright skies, and mixing vibrant greens when using a color like Hansa yellow. Excellent lightfastness, transparent, non-granulating, and high staining power. Daniel Smith's Phthalo Blue, made with PB15-6. It is the red shade. It is slightly warmer than the green shade, but still very intense. The same staining power, same transparency. Between the two phthalo blues, you've got your whole bright blue spectrum covered. The green shade for teals and turquoises, and the red shade for more violet-leaning mixes. Excellent lightfastness, transparent, non-granulating, high staining power. Da Vinci's Prussian Blue, made with PB27. This is one of the oldest synthetic pigments, discovered in the early 1700s. It is a deep, slightly greenish navy blue with a moody, almost melancholic quality. Excellent lightfastness in modern formulations. It's less intense than phthalo, but still powerful. Beautiful for everything from moody skies to deep water to green landscapes and portraiture shadows. Again, excellent lightfastness, transparent, it granulates some, and it is staining. Row 3 is where things get interesting. We've got every yellow from bright lemon yellow to deep gold, and then to violets and some specialty blues in there too. First up in row 3, we have Daniel Smith Lemon Yellow PY175. This is your cool green-leaning yellow. It is transparent, has excellent lightfastness. It's the yellow you need for mixing bright, clean greens with phthalo or cerulean blue. It is a true staple in my palette. It is non-granulating and low staining power. Da Vinci's Hansa Yellow Medium, made with PY74. This is a warm, sunny primary yellow, similar to cadmium yellow, but more transparent, providing cleaner mixes. It is transparent, has good lightfastness. It's more of a true yellow than lemon, the color of a school bus or a sunflower. If you're going to own one bright yellow, it is either this or New Gamboge. Again, this one only has good lightfastness. It is transparent, non-granulating, and medium staining power. Winsor Newton cadmium-free yellow, made with PW6 and PY. This is Winsor & Newton's modern alternative to cadmium yellow. Cadmiums are brilliant and opaque, but they are heavy metals, and some artists prefer to avoid them. This uses modern pigments to replicate that bright, opaque, warm yellow. It is opaque, so it behaves differently from transparent yellows. It sits on top of the paper rather than staining in. It is rated excellent in lightfastness. It is opaque, non-granulating, and low staining power. Daniel Smith's new gamboge, made with PY97 and PY110. This is probably my most used warm yellow. It is transparent, warm, and it has this gorgeous golden quality. The original gamboge pigment was fugitive and toxic. Daniel Smith reformulated it with modern lightfast pigments, so you get the same rich golden yellow without the problem. A staple. Rated excellent for lightfastness, transparent, non-granulating, low staining power. Next up is Daniel Smith Nickel Azo Yellow, made with PY150. This is a newer discovery for me. It is transparent, a versatile yellow. In its mass tone, it resembles yellow ochre, but thinned out makes the most beautiful glowing yellow. It makes incredibly natural, complex greens when mixed with blues, much more organic than the bright greens you get from lemon yellow. If you paint landscapes, this is a secret weapon. Rated excellent for lightfastness, transparent, non-granulating, and low staining power. Daniel Smith's quinacridone gold, made with PO48 and PY150. This is a beloved, rich, warm gold brown that mixes beautiful earthy greens and oranges. It is a convenience mix that has a cult following for good reason. It adds warmth and depth that feels natural, not manufactured. Great for autumn foliage, golden light, and earthy landscapes. I love the versatility and the glow that comes from watering this pigment down in a wash. It is a truly versatile color. It is rated excellent for lightfastness. It is transparent, granulating, and low staining power. Next up is Da Vinci's Lavender, made with PV15 and PW6. It is a soft, slightly cool violet. It is delicate and subtle, great for atmospheric effects, distant mountains, or softening the edges of floral petals. It's not a high chroma purple, it is gentle, and that's exactly why it's useful. It is very interesting to use when you mute out colors in a landscape. The gray tones are convincingly atmospheric. Lightfastness is excellent. It is semi-opaque, it granulates some, and low staining power. Next up is Da Vinci's Phthalo Turquoise, made with PB16. This is a single pigment turquoise that is intense, staining, and transparent. It's brighter and greener than cobalt teal blue without the granulation. If you want that vibrant tropical water turquoise that grabs your attention right away, this is it. Very staining, and it's not going anywhere once it's down. So lightfastness is excellent, transparent, non-granulating, and high staining power. Daniel Smith's Quinacridone Violet, made with PV19. It is a deep, rich purple that leans slightly red. Excellent lightfastness, transparent, staining. It is the purple for deep florals like irises, violets, dark pansies. It mixes gorgeous, deep indigos with phthalo blue. It is also non-granulating. M. Graham's Dioxazine Purple, made with PB23. This is my only M. Graham watercolor that I own, but I would like to own more. This is an incredibly dark, intense purple, so dark that it almost reads as black in its mass tone, but when you dilute it, it blooms into this brilliant blue-violet. Very good lightfastness, transparent, strongly staining. A tiny dot goes an incredibly long way. M. Graham uses honey in their formulation, which means it re-wets beautifully. Again, its lightfastness is only rated as very good. It is transparent, non-granulating, and high staining power. Up next is Daniel Smith's Indigo, made with PBK6 and PB60. This is Daniel Smith's version of the classic dark blue. Genuine indigo is fugitive, so Daniel Smith uses a mix of modern lightfast pigments to get that same deep, moody, slightly warm navy. It creates those dark atmospheric washes that feel like twilight. Very versatile color for many subjects: landscapes, pet portraits, human portraits, shadows for pretty much any subject. The Lightfast rating is excellent, transparent, non-granulating, medium staining power. Da Vinci Stormy Blue, made with PB60 and PR101. This is a Da Vinci specialty mix, and the name tells you everything. It is dark, granulating, moody blue-gray that looks like a thunderstorm on your paper. It is absolutely beautiful for dramatic skies, moody landscapes, or anywhere that you want texture and atmosphere. The Lightfastness is rated as excellent. It is semi-opaque, granulating, and low staining power. Last but not least for this row is Schmincke Shire Blue. It is a super granulating color. And honestly, this color is wild. It's a mix of multiple pigments that separate dramatically on the paper, creating a textured, layered look in one single wash. This gives you sky blues with earthy granulation, like looking at distant hills under a blue sky. If you've never used a super granulating color, this one is going to be a treat. And the Lightfast rating is excellent. Alright, last but not least, the final row. The earth tones, the darks, and 2 more of those incredible super granulating Schmincke colors. If the other rows are the melody, this row is the baseline. Baby, it grounds everything. First up is Da Vinci Titan Buff, PW6. This is an opaque, warm, off-white color. It is not a titanium white. It is a softer, warmer, more like an unbleached linen type of color. It's great for adding a touch of opacity to mixes, toning down bright colors, or creating a hazy atmospheric effect. Unlike white, it doesn't make colors look chalky. The Lightfast rating is excellent. It is opaque, granulating, and medium staining power. Da Vinci's Yellow Ochre, made with PY43. This is one of the oldest pigments in human history. It's literally iron oxide, the color of the earth. Semi-opaque, granulating, and completely Lightfast. It's that warm, sandy, golden earth tone that anchors a landscape palette, mixing convincing greens, rich umbers, muted oranges, and more. Every palette needs a good yellow ochre. Again, the rating for Lightfastness is excellent. It is semi-opaque, low granulation, and medium staining power. Daniel Smith's Raw Sienna, made with PBR7. It is a natural earth pigment. It's a warm golden brown with soft granulation, slightly darker and more orange than yellow ochre. Excellent Lightfastness, semi-transparent. Raw Sienna and yellow ochre are close cousins. Raw Sienna leans warmer, almost towards amber. It is granulating and it has low staining power. Da Vinci's Terracotta, made with PR102. It is a synthetic iron oxide. This is a warm, slightly pinkish earth red, the color of terracotta pots. It granulates beautifully and has a soft, dusty quality. It's great for desert landscapes, warm earth, brick, or adding warmth to a neutral mix. It's only rated as a Lightfastness of good, level 2. It is semi-opaque, it is granulating, and non-staining. Daniel Smith's Quinacridone Burnt Orange, made with PO48. This is a transparent, staining, warm orange-brown that is incredible in its richness. It is not an earth pigment, it's a synthetic organic, so it behaves differently from natural earths. It's more intense, more staining, and mixes brilliant warm shadows. When mixed with sap green, it creates the most beautiful mossy green. It's a modern classic. It's rated excellent in its Lightfastness. It is transparent, granulating, and low staining power. Da Vinci's Burnt Sienna, made with PBR7. It is a natural calcined iron oxide. This is one of the first tubes of watercolor that I have ever bought, alongside Burnt Umber. It is a classic warm reddish brown that every watercolorist knows. It granulates, it's transparent, and endlessly useful. In landscapes, in portraits, warm shadows, you name it. It's another staple. Lightfast rating is excellent. It is transparent, granulating, and staining. Next up we have Da Vinci's Raw Umber, again made from PBR7. It is a cool greenish brown earth. It is a lot less red than burnt sienna, and it's more neutral to cool leaning. It is the color of tree bark, damp soil, shadowed earth. It's transparent, granulates some, excellent lightfastness, and staining. It's great for painting animals, winter grasses, sandy shorelines, etc. Mixed with yellow creates glowing golds. Mixed with red, orange, or violet creates a variety of rich, rusty browns. Da Vinci's Burnt Umber, again made with PBR7. It is the warm, dark cousin of raw umber. It is deeper, redder, and warmer. The color of rich, dark soil or dark chocolate. It is transparent and granulating. Burnt umber plus ultramarine blue makes one of the best natural blacks that you can mix, and it is one of my most used colors, especially for painting animals, portraits. It's useful in quick value studies and also in finished pieces. It is honestly in my top 10. Again, the Lightfastness rating is excellent. It is semi-transparent, granulates some, and low staining power. Daniel Smith's Transparent Brown Oxide, made with PR 101. It's a synthetic transparent earth brown, great for glazing, adding warmth. When watered down, becomes an almost peachy tone, which is fun to play with in portraits. It's a fun one to play with, but not necessarily a staple in my palette. Lightfast rating is excellent. It is transparent, granulating, and non-staining. Daniel Smith's Neutral Tint, made with PBK6, PB19, and PB15. This is a convenience dark gray. It's a mix of black, blue, and violet pigments. It gives you a neutral gray without the flatness of pure black. It is great for toning down colors, darkening colors while keeping its transparency without getting muddy, painting shadows, or mixing quick grays. Some artists swear by it and others prefer to mix their own, but honestly, this is one of my most used colors. I heavily rely on this color for shadow tones and deepening up my values. This is a limited palette staple because it pairs great with virtually any color. Lightfastness rating is excellent. It is semi-transparent, non-granulating, and low staining power. Alright, we are in the final three. We are at Daniel Smith's Moon Glow, made from PG18, PB29, and PR177. 3 pigments that separate into this moody, magical, granulating violet gray. It's transparent but textured, and it blooms on the paper in ways that feel unpredictable and beautiful. The name is very accurate. It looks like moonlight on a cloudy night. If you buy one specialty color from this entire palette, Moonglow is the one that I would pick. It's an easy way to add interest to any watercolor piece. Lightfast rating is excellent, transparent, granulating, low staining power, and it's a cult favorite. The last two are both by Schmincke's super granulating line. First up is Tundra Violet. This one separates into cool violet tones with earthy granulation. It is moody, atmospheric, and textural. The super granulating series is genuinely different from anything else that I've seen on the market. And the Lightfast rating is excellent. Last but not least is Volcano Brown. We are finishing up on a dramatic note. It is a deep, dark, warm brown with intense granulation and pigment separation. It looks like cooled lava, dark, textured with reddish tones. It's a statement color for the final swatch, and it's so fitting to end here. This palette started bright and built to something deep, earthy, and grounded. Lightfast rating is excellent. And there it is, all 52 colors. Honestly, swatching a palette this big reminds me of just how vast the world of watercolor really is. There are colors here that overlap, colors that do things that nothing else can do, and a few that I'd probably consolidate if I were starting from scratch. If I had to pick my top 5 from this palette alone, the ones that I would never give up, it would be Nickel Azo Yellow for the complex greens that it creates. Ultramarine Blue is my workhorse blue. Quinacridone Rose for the versatility between florals and portraits. And then Burnt Sienna and Neutral Tint. Which, do those last two make me a little bit boring? Well, if it does make me boring, I don't care because they are my favorite colors. But honestly, every color in this palette has earned its spot for a reason. So I would love to hear from you guys. What is your desert island watercolor? As you know, mine is ultramarine blue. What's the one color that you would keep if you could only have one? Leave a comment and let me know. I feel like those answers say a lot about what kind of painter someone is. Thank you guys so much for being here and swatching through this whole watercolor palette with me. I know this one was a little bit of a longer video and a lot of information. If this was helpful, I would love if you would subscribe and hang out with me. There's so much more coming in the near future, and I'm really excited about what's to come. Until then, stay creative, stay faithful, and stay rooted in grace. Bye, guys.